I think people are more interesting than plot. My movies aren't so much what happens, it's how it happens. I mean, you pretty much know going into any of my films. I mean, it's not, gee, I wonder how this is going to end. It's more, not what's going to happen to this guy. It's how is what I presume is going to happen. How is it going to happen to him? And that gives me the luxury of the time and the it gives me the time within the framework of the film to develop the characters and build the characters. Breakfast Club is a perfect example of a film. I had many a studio executive say, "Well, there's no story. They come in the morning, they leave." I said, "Well, it isn't. The story isn't. No, I mean, the traditional story. Boy gets dog, dog dies. Boy gets new dog. It's not that kind of story. It is about who are these people, what do they like, and why are they acting the way they're acting. That's most interesting to me."
Is that a theme that you are going to make a trademark, or is that just so inbred into you as far as being successful and what you want to do as a filmmaker?
It's just what I like to do, and I'm really not. I've tried a couple of scripts with heavy plots. Like I've always been in awe of somebody like Julie Christie.
I've often been in awe of her too.
Agatha Christie. These incredibly complex plots, and I'm like, God, how the hell do you do that? I can't do it. I just it's the people. I can build characters. And I like to. It's sort of like sitting down and making some friends. It's probably not a great trait, but.
Oh well, it seems to me that it's
I
something that's very successful, though.
Edie McClurg, for example. I mean, creating the perfect sort of dunderhead secretary.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a person who, the relationship between the principal and his secretary, I just adore that. Here's this guy who has probably hired someone he didn't think was too bright, so that he could dominate her, and she drives him insane because everything that she does annoys him, and he's a man who loves to be king of people that he can dominate completely. He likes working with kids where he can tell they're you do this, you sit there, you put the pencil on the end of your nose and stand on your head, and he was a great character to create. I had a good time with that.
You are known for your ability to work with young actors and actresses, and yet you had mentioned that what a joy it was to work with Jeffrey Jones, with someone who is an experienced actor. Do you want to work in more adult films in the future where there are more adult characters and that you have a chance to work with some of these talented and gifted actors and actresses?
Oh, very much so. I mean, it's kind of fun with Jeffrey. The first time in a long time I worked with someone I didn't have to stop after 20 minutes, have him go take a math lesson, or I'd have to meet his mom, It was really fun to work with someone who had a body of work behind him and a experience and skills, polished skills. So I could say to Jeffrey, "Can you do that?" Of course I can. Well, why don't we do it like that? And I'd say, "Well, let's try this," and then he'd say, "Okay, great, we'll do this," and it would just build into this wonderful collaboration. I had a great time with him.
Do you think there's any validity to not the charge, but the observation that a lot of your adult characters are not very sympathetic, especially parent characters?
I don't, I mean, there are, I think Breakfast Club was the one that raised the most ire. And that was a guy who wasn't very happy with himself.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was the character.
Yes.
It isn't saying that every school administrator is a bad person. Mm-hmm. I think my portrayal of teachers in this one is very interesting, because I delivered, when I was writing a script, I said, if I was a teacher and it was a beautiful day in May and it hit 70 for the first time, I don't think I'd want to be in there either. You sort of presume as a student, I'm the only one that wants to get out of here. Just hit the mic, didn't I? Wasn't that a beauty?
You'll learn. It's a learning profession.
Is it a student presumes that he's the only one that wants out, but the teachers certainly must want out too. So I did these classroom scenes where the teachers are almost as bored as the kids, and maybe more so. It's May.
Yes.
It must be the Holly Smoot Act, for the 35th time. So I don't think I've been unfair. And I deliberately created a very strong family for Ferris. You know, his parents, yeah, he tricks them, but he's a good kid. You know.
Do you think parents and teachers, with the exception of the dean of students, don't really mind being tricked? Sometimes they know they're being tricked.